Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Konhi Bhattacharya. Welcome to the April meeting, everyone. And today, Sabeda and I would be talking a little bit, taking turns with some reminders, with some updates for you. I know this is a very busy time for all SPA coordinators, reviewers, auditors, getting in touch, preparing for the spring review cycle. So we would try to keep this as concise as possible, as short as possible. If you have any questions, stop us in the middle of the slides, and we'll pause for questions. But feel free to send messages or just interrupt me while I'm proceeding with the slides and the information. So once again, thank you for joining us today. We'll start with the spring updates. So the spring 2019, we have a total of, I know all of you know the individual SPA numbers, but the total number of reports that SPAs have received this cycle, the spring 2019 cycle, is 545 from 131 providers. The numbers are really comparable to what it was last year. We are trying to look at the trends, whether the numbers are going up or down drastically, but it seems that last year in spring we had 552, but this year the numbers are 545, not too less. Also in fall, around this time for fall 2019, we had similar, I think we had 173 or 75 reports as of April. The numbers are looking pretty similar as of now. Last fall, meaning fall 2018, we had a total of 493, which is quite low compared to a couple of years back what we used to get. But fall 2019 and 2018, we are not seeing a significant drop in these 2 years. So in these 2 consecutive years. So that's the trend. One thing I would like to let you know, and this was based on some of the concerns we had related to the scope of program review, whether non-licensure degree program should be reviewed by SPAs or not, who would identify this program at what stage. There was a lot of confusion, questions back and forth. So what we did was we went into the program report template that the programs would submit to you. And on the cover page, under item 9, the program type, we have included an extra bullet point for programs to identify whether the report is for a non-licensure or non-certification degree. That bullet has been added to all the SPA program reports that you are receiving. In addition to other program types such as first teaching license or other school personnel or advanced teaching or unspecified. I mean, we have added this 4th or 5th category. So depending on which SPA you are, you might not be seeing all the other types, but you will see the non-licensure / non-certification degree in all the program reports, so that when you, the reviewers on your team, for your SPA, they're looking at the cover page. At the very beginning, it's going to tell you, the reviewers and everybody who looks at it, whether it falls within the scope of the review process or not. If you see that it is a non-licensure, non-certification degree, if the reviewers notice that, they should be advised to get in touch immediately with a SPA coordinator or with CAEP, so that we can inform the EPP about taking this program report out of the system so that it's not subject. And it, takes down your numbers and just to make sure there isn't any confusion on anyone's end. So is there any question regarding that? I don't know whether you already noticed it or not, but I just wanted to make you aware of this change. I'm not hearing anything from anyone, nor did I receive any text. So I'm assuming there aren't any questions. Just so you know, Sabita is working on, with our IT, the tech support department, to update the templates on our website so that the new additions, the templates that the programs will see from now on would have this additional information. So, and since Sabita and Louis primarily deal with the assignments and they work closely with you on the timelines, I'll let Sabita speak on this a little bit.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I just wanted to go over a few reminders and tips about the spring cycle. Some of those reminders are just things that you already know, but maybe just need a refresher on those. I want to let you all know because I had a few SPA coordinators contact me in reference to reports that were shown as drafts or either as an empty shell. And I wanted you to know that Lewis and I actually do, we call it cleaning up the shells or empty drafts. And we do this from about March 22nd. We receive EPP program reports up until March 15th unless someone has asked for an extension. So we usually start the cleanup process about a week later from March 15th, where we will start looking at the drafts and empty shells that are shown in AIMS, and then we contact EPPs to see if they just fail to click on the submit button or if they do not plan to submit for the spring or fall cycles. So that cleanup phase takes place during about March 22nd to April 15th. This year, we were not able to have them all completed or removed by April 15th, so we did have a few out there hanging out there on April 15th when team assignments were made. So our apologies to you for that, but we didn't get the responses back from the EPPs in a timely manner, and we do have to work with tech support to have them deactivate the shells before we can actually delete the shells. And we do want to make sure that we make note of these removals of these shells in case the EPP should contact us and say, no, we didn't ask you to remove those shells. So that takes place March 22nd through April 15th. And then you as SPA coordinators should get your team assignments in AIMS around April 10th through the 15th. Just do not assign any teams to any programs that you see with drafts or if you see no report or empty shell there. I also want to give you a reminder about June 1, the team reports are due, and July 1, the auditor reports are due. And on August 1, as you all know, we do our final tech edits during the month of July, and then those final reports are published by August 1. And we have made it our goal to make sure that 100% of those reports are posted by August 1. And we've met that deadline for the last 6 or 7 cycles with only 1 or 2 reports outstanding. So we do contact the EPP to let them know in case there is a delay in getting that final report published. But if you have any questions or clarifications on reviewer assignments or regarding incomplete reports, please don't hesitate to reach out to Louis or myself. Another reminder about as I said, I've already told you about the team assignments that's due in April 15th. But I've had a few questions from SPA coordinators in reference to team assignment changes. And if you need to make any type of assignment change, you would make those changes in Ames the same way you put in your initial current assignments. But you would definitely need to let Lewis or myself or Bahi know so that we can finalize those in Ames. And when I say finalize those in the Ames, what I mean is we can see what you've put in, but then we have to go in and put in what you've already put in, and that finalizes it. And then we then send out that email confirmation to the reviewers or auditors to let them know that the assignment has been changed in Ames. So if you do have to make assignment changes, Megan will see. Hopefully you received my email message earlier today in reference to assignment changes. If not, don't hesitate to give me a call this afternoon or this week. Also wanted to let you know that link reports should have the same team assigned to all reports. There's been problems in the past where SPA coordinators will have maybe 6 link reports, and they put a team of two different times. Now, I know that was confusing. They will have 6 reports, and they assign 3 different sets of teams. That cannot be done, because if they do not, if the third team that was assigned to the 5th and 6th reports, they can't see the initial report, and that holds all of the data and the alignment to assessment information in those attachments. So whenever you see linked reports, please make sure you have the same team assigned to those reports. And also, I received this question from Megan, and I also wanted to say, in case anyone else would like to know, the way that you assess the reviewer's conflict of interest survey, you would just need to sign into Ames, click on roster on the left side, and then you'll go down and you'll see one of your reviewers' names. And the reviewers that has a green check mark in the column of available, those are the reviewers that's available for that cycle. You would just go to one of the reviewers' names, click on the reviewer's name, and then you will see exactly if they have no conflicts or the EPPs that they have a conflict with. So this is a way that you can see if your reviewers have a conflict with one of your assignments. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew all about this, and these are only reminders. And if you have any questions about team assignments or anything for the program review cycle, please don't hesitate to contact us, Louis, myself, or Bahi. One last thing that I wanted to talk to you all about is that with the review reports due on June 1st, I want to say thank you to all the SPAs that were able to get the team assignments done prior to or on April 15th. So we got quite a few in last week prior to the Easter holiday. I do still have several SPAs that have not put in their team assignments. I am working on one today, and we'll have that released later. But for the other SPAs that have not gotten those done, I would recommend that you get those in as soon as possible. But please let me know if you're planning to give your reviewers an extension on the latter part, meaning the due date part, the June 1 part. Please let us know so we can go in and change those dates in Ames so that the reviewers will not receive those automatic email reminders that you haven't completed your report. So if you do want to have an extension for the reviewers later than the June 1st date, please just let me know. We'll make those changes in Ames. And the same thing goes for audit reports. If you're going to be a little bit later than July 1st, I don't recommend being any later than, let's say, maybe the 5th or 6th of July, because we really have to get to working on those for our tech edits. But if you do request an extension, let me know or let Louis know, and we'll put those in the system also. So thank you very much, and I appreciate everyone getting the team assignments done this week, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabeta. Any question for Sabeta regarding this process or information or question? Megan, thank you for reaching out to us. And yes, absolutely. You know, sometimes you, all of any of you or any of us could be the reason that sometimes an issue gets discussed during these monthly meetings. And, you know, because we try, all three of us, we try to brainstorm topics that need to be addressed based on the questions that are being asked, and we think that it's important for us to revisit that serves everyone's purpose. So thank you so much for reaching out. It gives us a reason to talk about that, to talk about the process. And I know many of you, I am getting some feedback. So if any of you have your microphones on, can you please turn it off for now? You put yourself on mute. Thank you. So a few reminders, and I know many of you, you send out a note to your reviewers and audit team. Hello. I'm hearing a feedback. If you don't mind, whoever, if one of you have your, I think I'm seeing several microphones on. If you could please keep your phones on mute, that'll be great. When you are asking a question, feel free to unmute yourself. Otherwise, I'm hearing my voice echoing on the other end. All right. Okay. What I did was I just went ahead and muted the ones that I saw showing up as unmute. Let me check again. There are two more. Just give me a moment. Okay. I think we're all set now. Thank you, Pam. A quick note, because I know that many of you send out a reminder to your review team, because many of your reviewers are new recruits and some are experienced, but it's always a good practice, right, to let them know that please don't forget. These are the important things to remember, and I see that every cycle you do that diligently, and since I'm copied in some of your emails, I'm aware, how detailed they are. So just so you are not missing out on these points, I thought I would just include them on my slides, like every cycle. Please ask your reviewers not to provide any input about to programs that tells them that programs cannot submit a SPA report if the numbers are low. Under CAEP, low numbers, programs with low numbers are not prevented from submitting SPA reports or getting their programs being reviewed, even if they're not submitting SPAs, two SPAs, then or getting reviewed through any other option. They still should be able to get them reviewed to hold them accountable. Yes, due to the low numbers, they cannot, it's difficult to show a trend or pattern. However, they're still showing you the kind of data they have collected, or what at least something that is being revealed from the assessments they have used with a very few number of candidates enrolled in their programs. Of course, it's not going to be a robust trend that they can claim, but it's at least something. And sometimes it's not in their hands. Some SPA reviewers think that, it is important for EPPs to really work towards recruiting candidates to increase the numbers, but once again, each EPP, they have their own circumstances. So we cannot make that a criteria for national recognition. Although without data, if you see that there is no data due to no enrollment in a program, that is a conversation that we need to have. Because in those cases, sometimes the state needs to be involved to tell the EPP whether they should be putting this program as dormant in the system and not being subject to review or anything. So, at that point, it becomes a conversation with the state. So Kathleen has a question. I'll just pause over here to address that. Kathleen is from CEC. She's asking, what happened to the sample rubrics you asked SPA for that were to be put on the CAEP website? Kathleen, we are still asking for the samples, and if you have already sent us and you are not seeing it on our website, it is for a reason, because some of our web pages there was a glitch all of a sudden, and some of our web pages just vanished and broke down. The links just broke down. We are still working on those, on fixing them. But if your web page, the CEC web page, is working, and you contacted us with samples, and you do not yet see that on the web page, please let me know. Please send Lilith, Savita, or me an email reminding that there is an action that needs to be taken immediately, because EPP, the programs are trying to look at examples from you, and if we are not updating our website on time, that would be a problem. So yes, please send me an email, send us an email if you had already shared examples and you do not see them on our website. Also, please don't forget to remind your reviewers about not using the NCATE links, because some reviewers are very experienced reviewers, and they might not have been updated on the current links on the CAEP website. So many times they fall back on the NCATE website, the links they had saved as their own, in their own notes. So just remind them that the NCATE web pages no longer exist and they're not functional. They should not be referred to. Please refer to the CAEP website or any SPA web page link that has samples or examples or instructions on how to prepare a report or develop an assessment. If you have anything on your SPA website, please feel free to use that as well. In fact, that is, recommended. Also remind your reviewers that they should be opening their reports as soon as they receive an assignment and they receive the notification about the assignment, because if we get to know about any anomaly in the program reports, we can contact the programs immediately for them to fix it before reviewers actually get too deep into the process. And then at the end, we figure out maybe towards the end at the stage of auditing or tech editing that something was amiss, and then the reviewers missed it. So there might be a chain of events, and it might be too late, and programs get upset about not contacting them earlier. So just ask them to check whether all the parts are looking good, at least the cover page. No red flags are there. The titles of the programs, the degree levels, the SPA standards. And I know this happens a lot with CEC. And CEC does such a great job of looking at each and every program report and ensuring that programs are actually using the correct set of standards, because they do have initial CEC standards and advanced CEC standards, and they contact us immediately to check with the programs whether they should be using advanced or initial SPA standards, because sometimes CAEP advanced standards and the SPA advanced standards and who uses what, this becomes very confusing. And I do not blame the EPPs or the SPAs for having these confusions, because we are, the onus is on us to make it clear on both ends and to make the process as smooth as possible. So thank you, CEC, and thanks to the rest of you as well who get in touch with us early on in the process about all the changes. And I know AASL, the Library Association, also gets in touch with us about the wrong degree levels that should not get reviewed by them and someone has submitted. So we work with those, we get back to those EPPs and try to fix them, try to explain the situations about the SPA expectations, of what is within their scope of standards, what is not, and pull those reports out of the system so that the SPA reviewers are not burdened with just reviewing the wrong kinds of reports. Ask them to look at reports that does not have any data in them, because if it doesn't have any data, they're just wasting their time resubmitting conditions report with all the revisions. And also non-licensure degree programs, as I said, just tell them to look for item number 9 on the cover page, which says there is a new bullet on it that says non-licensure or non-certification programs. If that bullet is marked, you should be contacting us, or the reviewer should be contacting us immediately so that we can fix it. So if there aren't any questions for me on this, I'll just move on. Because as you know, many of you are aware of the fact that the SPA Standards Committee met in March to review some SPA standards. So they did review the formative drafts, meaning the informal drafts of that were submitted by NSTA, NCTE, and NCTM. So math, English, and science, they submitted their informal drafts for this formative feedback so that they can make the final adjustments and submit their final standards application packet when it is due. So the committee did work on those drafts very diligently, and we are expecting to release just minor tweaks, putting them on letterheads, copy editing. Those are the things that are being done right now. The overall process is finished, and the decisions will be released by April 30th latest. And just so you know, there is the association, the American School Counselor Association. They're not a SPA yet, but they are aspiring to be a SPA. So they are developing SPA standards based on the guidelines, just like all of you are working on or have worked on. And they had submitted their draft standards to, not draft, but actually the final standards application packet to the committee, and they're very close to being accepted. If accepted or when accepted, the ASCA, they call themselves American School Counselor Association, would become a new SPA after signing an agreement with CAEP, just to get into the rhythm of program review. So it's just an update, just so you know. There is this association that would be very soon might get added on our list as a new SPA in school counseling education. Currently, CAEP You might have heard that they are the accrediting agencies for school counseling, for counselor education. And whether it's P through 12 or not, or beyond that, everybody gets accredited or seeks, majority of those programs seek accreditation through CAEP. However, after ASCA becomes the new CAEP SPA, it will be interesting to see what the states require of EPPs of school counseling education programs, because in SPA requiring states, would EPPs be required to go through ASCA, or CAEP would still be acceptable or not? Just so that you are aware of what might be happening in the near future, maybe another year and a half. Put it on your radar. All of you are associated with providers. Just in case anybody asks about it, if you hear anything, please direct those questions to me, and I'll be happy to address all of those. So, but I thought all of you should be aware of this new development. The fall meeting, again, it happens in August every year. It's a face-to-face meeting of the committee. If you're planning to submit a standards application packet for review by the committee in fall, please submit it by July 1st. The deadline is July 1st for fall, and the deadline for spring is February 1st every year. Just like you have a spring and fall deadline for your SPA review cycles, there is a deadline for the standards application process as well. July 1st and February 1st, fall and spring. If you have any questions regarding that, the timeline or anything else, just feel free to contact me once again. Those of you who are thinking about revising your standards, just a reminder to get started with the planning process 2 to 3 years in advance. We know that SPAs put together a committee or body of experts to do that work, but sometimes we are seeing more and more in a couple of cases that SPA leadership might be involved in putting together a standards development committee for that SPA. And in that process, the SPA reviewers or the auditors or the coordinators might not be truly involved or engaged. That becomes very problematic for the committee, because they might be experts in the field. However, they do not have a clear understanding of how the SPA review process works. And that is why when they're putting together the standards application packet and talking about rubrics and assessments and all, the 6 to 8 assessments and the evidence guide for EPPs, it might become, a very confusing task and convoluted task for them. So just to just to make sure that everyone is supported, we really encourage all SPAs, the SPA leadership especially, to work very closely with SPA coordinators and the experienced reviewers, in addition to other experts that they feel who should be on that committee. So reviewers, please engage them, the experts. Before I move on, I do see some question from Kathleen once again, which I'll try to respond to first. So she's writing on behalf of CEC, when will we as SPA coordinators discuss the review calendar and consider possible changes to the submission and review schedule? Also, what day at Fall Cape Con will we as SPA coordinators present, September 25th or 26th? Kathleen, I wish I had that information right now. So we have our Accreditation Council meeting coming up this weekend. Immediately after the council meeting is over, the CAEP planners will get started with the CAEP dates, planning with those dates. The SPA coordinators, when the entire group meets, that is usually the day before CAEP, and I do not have the exact date. So the day before the actual conference starts should be the SPA coordinators meeting, but your individual sessions will be on the day, most probably on the first day of the conference. I do not have the exact date, so I do not want to, give you a specific date. But the first day of the conference is mostly the day when individual SPA presentations, SPA sessions are held. But the SPA coordinators' annual face-to-face meeting is usually the day before, which is a pre-con, if that helps. But I can get back to you with the specific dates very soon once they have decided on those, and I can speak to that more clearly, hopefully, the next time I meet with you, all of you. Okay, now coming back to the revision of the SPA standards, if you're, once again, preparing to submit the SPA standards to the committee in another couple of years, please consider submitting a draft set of it's optional, it's not required, but I have seen SPAs benefiting really from the process of receiving informal feedback, from the process of, submitting an early draft. And if you were considering submitting a formative draft or an informal draft of the standards, make sure that the standards components, at least the research, some basis of research based on which the standards were developed, and the rubrics for measure, because the feedback you will mostly get in the formative review is on whether the format, the structure of the standards are meeting the expectations of the guidelines, and also whether the committee thinks that the standards are measurable or not, because mostly the SPAs struggle with the rubrics and the evidence guide. So a reminder that do not forget, if you're submitting an application packet for informal feedback of your SPA standards, do not miss out on the rubrics. Whatever version you have, just submit it with the standards so that the committee can tell you something about, what you might expect to hear on the final version. Otherwise, they would not have a basis on, they might not be from your field to judge whether these standards meet the expectations of the field or not. You are the best judge in the field, right, as experts in the field. But they want to see whether structurally it's aligning with the guidelines or not, or whether they're measurable or not. So just provide them with that minimum information. And also, please contact me if you're looking for to make sure that if you're submitting the final application packet, make sure you check with me about the latest draft, the latest version of the checklist and the worksheet. I hope to post the 2019 version of the guidelines by May, meaning by next month on our website, and I will email those to you, all of you, so that you have the latest version of all of these materials. But even then, there's, you can always check with me about which one is the latest version of the checklist, whether the version you are using is the right one for submitting your, final standards application packet. Please do that. And last but not the least, next month, the next time we are meeting again would be June 12th, which is a Wednesday from 2:30 to 3:30. Before that, If there are burning issues that come up that you think should be discussed, please let me know. I know that Kathleen already talked about, okay, when are we going to discuss the review calendar and consider possible changes to this cycle. Remember, we talked about this during our last coordinators face-to-face annual meeting at the CAEPCon. I think we should set a date, maybe possibly in June when we meet, Kathleen. Why not do that? So I'll run it through all of you once again. I'll send a reminder to prepare for the June meeting when all of us will come together and talk about possible timing of this review cycle. I would also try to engage someone from our leadership team so that they can contribute to this discussion to understand how any change of the program review process might affect our accreditation process. But these are discussions that we should have as early as possible. So I'll go with June 12th, mark the date when we are going to discuss next month, when we are going to discuss possibilities of changing the review cycle dates, patterns, any inputs from your end and on our end. So if you know that someone from another SPA is not attending today, or one of your colleagues might be interested in attending that session, please welcome them to attend on June 12th. And today I'm recording this meeting, so anyone who was not able to attend, I'll be sending this out to them as well. So no worries if someone missed it today. So thank you, Kathleen, for reminding me of that, so that we could address it before the next CAEPCon comes over and we have another annual meeting. So and nothing gets decided. So thank you. I hope all of you have a great rest of the day. And if anything comes up, if you need our support, if you need any confirmation, if you need to inform us of any extensions or anomalies on the program reports, please do not think twice about contacting any of us or all of us. Thank you so much for everything you do. Have a great day. Bye.